All right, well, welcome. So we're going to start lying on our backs today, please. So lying back, knees up, feet down, arms relax at your sides, just drop in. Take a moment to get comfortable, let your shoulders uncurl, let the hips feel heavy, relaxing around your middle, so around the ribs, the belly, softening the chest. Just let everything start to drop into the ground. Feeling your full weight. Even your head feels really heavy. You might just give it a bit of a wriggle from side to side and then settle in. A few deep breaths here. Just calming everything down. Beginning to focus your attention. Okay, and then we'll just let the head fall over to one side. Gentle stretch. And over to the other side. Noticing any tightness, any restriction in your movement here. To the first side again. And over to the other side. Coming back up through center, and we'll let knees come all the way over to one side. Just keep the feet touching the floor. So a bit of a stretch up through the front of the hip there. Or maybe into the quad muscle. Or you might even be feeling something up through the torso. And then over to the other side. If you wanted to, you could turn your head to the opposite direction to see how that feels. Knees drop to the first side again. And across to the other side. Coming up through center, bring hands to thighs and slide up to your knees. Hug your knees gently in towards your body. Let the lower back lengthen along the ground. Just hugging in, maybe even gently rock from side to side a few times. Just kind of noticing what you're feeling today, if there's anything in your body that's particularly tight or restricted, anything that's calling your attention. And then we'll bring the right leg over the top of the left leg, so crossing as high up the thighs as you can. So really try and hook it across. Grab hold of the knees and very gently hug in towards you. Now let your shoulders drop back again. So there's no tension around the neck, chest or shoulders. Notice where you're feeling something here. It could be in the groin, it could be around the outer hip, it could be up the side of the leg. Maybe you're feeling something tugging up into the torso. So just take this time to notice really what it is that you feel here. Maybe you want to back off a bit. Maybe you want to pull in closer. And then we'll switch to the other side. So the left leg comes over the top. Try and cross as high up the thighs as you can. Grab hold and gently hug legs in towards you. Might be different on this side, different intensity or in a different area. Let your breath come easily. Try and focus attention on your breath. Helps us to be really present in all of our poses and movements. And then we'll unhook that top knee, big toes touch, knees wide, holding on to your shins or further up to your ankles. Let knees fall open. Notice if your shoulders are curling forward, let them pull down towards the floor. And we're very gently drawing the feet in a bit closer to your body, but try and keep the back of the hips touching the ground. Knees open wide. Breath flowing with ease. Invite it right down into your belly, all the way up to your chest. Now just release the right leg and float it open about to the diagonal. So the thighs still stay symmetrical to each other, so they're still in the same position. Hold on to the leg wherever it's comfortable, so you can prop it wherever you like. Just let gravity start to take over, easing into the stretch, which you might be feeling through the inner thigh, maybe into the groin here as well. Just notice what you feel and breathe into it. So as we spend a bit of time here, you might feel your leg beginning to lengthen a bit more. Any tightness starts to ease. Always returning your attention to your breath. So your breath is an indication for the pose you're in. So if it feels restricted in any way, if your breath feels like it's restricted, then maybe you want to modify your pose a little. Let's come to the other side. So returning through center, bending both knees, and float the other leg open. So straight away it might seem really tight in comparison. We'll give it a bit of time, let gravity help. Hold wherever you like. Do try and keep your pelvis level on the ground. Just a few breaths. Okay, and then slowly gathering the legs in, hug them up towards you. Come and roll all the way over and up to a seated position. Cross legs. Close your eyes again. Just get comfortable here. Let the shoulders fall away. So we're gently broadening across the shoulders, imagining that we were still lying on the ground. So the shoulders are gently pulled back without any real tension here. So just let them fall into a natural, easeful position. Couple of breaths to settle yourself again. And then with your next out breath, let's curl in, rounding out through the spine. So drawing navel in towards the spine, allowing your hips to rock back. And then lift and lengthen. Slightly squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. And lift the center of your chest. Curling in again. So try and open up across the back body, broadening across the back ribs. And then lift and open, so we've got the pelvis slightly tipping forward. Really open across the front line of the body. Tip your head back to wherever it feels good. And we'll do this one more time, so curling in, make the movement a bit more exaggerated. And then lift and open, fingertips float behind you, draw shoulder blades back and down, lift the center of your chest, big full breath, and then bring hands in front, just lean in, ease into your pose, so you might get a bit more intensity and a stretch around the outside of the legs, the outside of the hips. Maybe it's a bit different for you. It might be more in the groin area. So it's going to be a bit different for everyone. Just make sure there's no discomfort in your lower back. Walk your hands over to one side, so we'll lean in towards one knee. And you can reach the other arm a bit further if you like for more intensity. And then walk hands around to the other side. Okay, sitting up, sweep one arm up and over and turn your chest open. You could look up if it feels good, or you could look straight ahead. And then sweeping around to the other side. Turn and look up if you can. Let's do this one more time to each side. Sweep and open. And then once more. Okay, coming over onto your hands and knees, please. Okay, so plant your hands nice and strong. Bringing knees directly under your hips. And with that little bit of a lift in the belly, just to keep the spine nice and long. Notice the position of your shoulders. If it feels like they're scrunching up around your ears, gently draw them away from your ears and feel your shoulder blades hugging into the back of your body. So that's our really strong tabletop pose. Also notice where your head is. So we're not dropping the head, we're not pushing the chin forward. We're nice and long through the back of the neck. And then tucking your toes under. We're just going to hover the knees off the ground, so lift them off and then lower them back down, so they're not quite touching the ground, but they're as low as you can get them. Now, if you find that you're back into a crouch, let's try and bring the weight all the way forward. Check in with the shoulders, hug shoulder blades into the back of the body. See if you can bring the knees a little bit lower without collapsing in the middle. Holding for one more breath, and then send your hips high into a down dog. So here we're nice and long again through the spine. Notice again where your shoulders are, so we're not curving them around the ears. We want to pull the shoulders gently away from the ears, so the collarbones are nice and wide and the shoulder blades feel like they're actively gripping the back of your body. Start to shift the hips back a bit more, so you can have your knees as bent as they need to be, so they're not completely straight. And start to lower the heels just a little more, if you can do so without curving through your spine. So you might start to feel a stretch through the backs of the legs. And there's a sense of tilting the tailbone high towards the ceiling. Now coming forward into a plank, shoulders right over your wrists. Keep that little lift in the belly, just like in our tabletop pose, and then send the hips up and back again. Coming forward into your plank. Lift hips up and back. And one more time, coming all the way forward. Let's just hover for a moment. And then drop the knees. Slowly lower your hips all the way to the ground. Pull the shoulders up, back, and down towards each other. Now sweep your arms in front of you. So your fingertips are just lightly on the ground. Got a lot of power in the back body. So a sense of tilting the tailbone down and pulling the belly button away from the ground. Just keep the legs on the ground. If you can, lift your arms off, or you can keep fingertips down if you need that support. Bringing arms around the side, so keep your thumbs up, shoulder blades hugging into your back. If you needed to, fingertips can be down. And then pull your arms all the way back. Try and keep your neck long. Now bring hands under your shoulders, pushing up, tuck toes, and send your hips back. Okay, lifting your right leg high. Come forward, bringing your knee up towards your elbow. Send the leg high, push into your hands. And come forward again. Try and get your knee to touch your elbow. And one more time, send the leg up. And then this time, as we come forward, keep your weight coming all the way forward over your hands, and then take a big step just outside the hand. Tuck it in really close. Spin the back heel down and wind your way up into a warrior. So you can climb up to your thigh if you need that support. Warrior, let's try and pull the shoulders back so they stack over your hips. Keep pulling in through the belly, so we're nice and long through the torso without shifting the hips back. So we want to be gently tilting tailbone down towards the ground, and let your shoulders drop away from ears, broadening across your collarbones. And then sweep the front arm or the right arm up and over, curving through the side body. Keep the back leg really powerful. And then float your way forward so the forearm lands lightly on the thigh and the other arm comes right your way over. Sweeping up again. And coming forward, either resting lightly on the thigh or point your fingers down towards your heel. Top arm keeps traveling overhead. And then land that top hand, lift the back heel. Let's add on a twist, so we're facing the thigh. Right arm lifts. Keep pulling your arm back to open across the chest. And then bring your hand inside your foot. So you can rock a few times. We're coming back into our down dog. So plant your hands firmly, start to lighten that front leg, and then step back. Now I'm going to turn around so that I still face you. So face any way you want. From our down dog, we're going to send the left leg up. Coming forward, knee outside the elbow. Extend. Coming forward, try and get the knee right up. Maybe it touches the elbow, maybe it doesn't quite make it. And one more time. Coming forward, hover for a moment, keep shifting your weight forward, and then take a big step just outside the hand. Spin the back heel down, climb up your thigh if you need, or just windmill your way up into your warrior two. Now notice if you tend to pull your arms right back, try and bring them nicely in line with your shoulders. So they might even be just very slightly ahead of your shoulders. Belly button pulling in. actively working the tailbone down, dropping into your pose. Let shoulders fall away from ears. Now breathe the left arm up and over. Coming forward, really lightly touching the thigh. Other arm comes right overhead. Wind your way up again. Moving with your breath. And forward. Anchor through the legs. Reach further down if you want to. Keep bringing the top arm all the way over. And then land to the top hand. Lift your back heel. Add your twist. So left arm lifts. Pull the arm just a little bit further around. And then plant your hand inside the foot. So make your hands really strong, pushing into every finger. Rock forward and back a few times. Feeling the legs start to lighten. And then step back into your down dog. So pushing hips right back. Feeling the strength and alignment all the way up through your body, from the crown of your head to your tailbone, across your shoulders, so collarbones are wide, and tilting your hips high. Starting to move the heels just a little lower without collapsing in your middle. And also notice where your head is, so we're not dropping the head. We want to keep ears in line with your arms. Floating forward into a high plank. Lifting up and back. So we're maintaining the position of the torso the whole time, keeping that really nice alignment. That's how we build stability in all of our poses. Coming forward one last time. Let's hover here. Drop knees or stay upon your toes and slowly come all the way down, landing the hips. Release the feet, shoulders pull up and back, lifting your chest through. So imagine here that you're tilting tailbone down and pulling your navel away from the floor. Sweep arms ahead of you, just like before, either touching the ground the whole way or lifting off. So pull your shoulders gently back so that we're not crowding the ears, and then open out wide. See if you can lift your chest a little bit higher. Pull your arms all the way back, holding for another breath. And then hands under shoulders, pushing up, tuck toes under, and send your hips up and back into your down dog. Okay, and then walk your feet all the way up to your hands, coming into a forward fold. We're just passing through here. So rising up to standing. Float arms all the way up. And come down center. Settling in, feeling that vertical alignment in your body again. In through the navel, lengthening. So we're coming from a banana shape to tilting tailbone down, belly in and up. So feeling that vertical alignment in your body. Okay, and then stepping your feet together, drop arms, lift one knee off and sweep your arms overhead. Holding still. Open your knee out to the side. Now remembering your natural turn out from when we were lying on the ground. So it's not going to be out at 90 degrees. You might find that it's at more of a 45-degree angle so that we don't have to try and twist the hips just to get 90 degrees. So we're here. Now send the leg back, sweep your arms down and forward. And then rise again, so a bit of a wobbly spot here, bringing the knee through, pause, and touch down lightly. Coming to the other side. So try and keep your hips level the whole time so that we're not hitching into one side. Opening your knee out to the side, just to where you can without moving the hips. Leg comes back, arms sweep down and float them ahead of you. Now rise and touch down. We'll do this one more time on each side. Make each transition really smooth. Keeping the pelvis aligned, nice and level. Open. And sweep. Leg back, arms float in front. Knee comes through. And touch down. Smooth, switch to the other side, lifting off. Open. Sweep. Rise. And dive into a forward fold. So touch down. Keep coming all the way down. Let your head hang, let your shoulders relax. Sending hips high. Draw up the crown of the head. Big easy breaths. And then scoot one leg under. Let's come and take a seat. Soles of the feet together. Holding onto your shins or ankles, whatever you like. Let's draw the shoulders gently back and down. So lengthen all the way to the crown of the head and then just gently tip forward. So you can wrap your toes if you like. Check in with your breath. So how can you find ease in your pose? Ease of breath. Feeling all the space and freedom in your body for an easeful breath. Okay, gather your legs together. Let's come and lie all the way down onto the ground, onto your back. So keeping your feet on the ground, bring them in a little bit closer towards the hips. Try to keep your knees in line with your hips so they don't fall out to the sides and they're not coming all the way together. Lift your hips off and try and create a long line from your shoulders out to your knees. Okay, so we're not so arched that we're bending in the middle and we're not letting the hips hang. We want to try and find a nice alignment from shoulders to the rib cage, to the hips, and out to the knees. So you can hold your hips or you can clasp hands behind, whatever feels good to you. So just like when we were standing, we want to be very gently pulling the belly button in and lengthening the tailbone away from the crown of your head. So we're not making that banana shape in the back. And then just feel the breath, let your ribs expand with every breath. A bit of tension in the glutes, maybe in the hamstrings too. Make sure your throat is relaxed. And can we hold here for one more breath? Deeply in and slowly out, rolling back down with the out breath. And once you get to the bottom, just let everything relax again. Float your arms wide, lower knees over to one side. Maybe turn and look in the opposite direction. And then bringing knees over to the other side. Coming up through center, pick up your knees, bring them in close. Just hug them very gently, let the lower back lengthen against the ground. So we're not squeezing with all of our might, we're just letting them come in nice and gentle. And then we'll cross the right leg over the top, hugging thighs together. Hold on to your knees just like we did at the start, or you could slide your hands further down and bring your feet a little bit wider. So you can choose your own intensity in this pose and kind of feel for yourself whether your knees need to be closer to you or further away, whether you want to let the legs go or whether you want to start to flare them out to the sides. So choose for yourself where it feels right to you, where you're getting a good stretch, and whether you just need to back off a little or find more intensity. If there's a lot of tension creeping into the shoulders right now, let them drop back. And then keeping the legs where they are, just release the arms, lower your knees over to the left side. And you could shuffle the hips a little so that you can rest here. If there's any discomfort in the lower back or the hips or the knees, just bring the knees together and let them rest down. Or you can keep it crossed. And then to come out, we'll unhook that top leg, roll back through center, bringing both knees up. This time the left leg will come over the top. So cross as far over as you can, holding onto knees or sliding down to ankles. Notice if the side feels any different. Maybe you need to maneuver into a different position on the side. Just focusing on your breath again. Just feel what's best to you, whether it's pulling in a bit closer or feet wider, or maybe easing out of the pose a bit. And then we'll let go of the hands and roll over to the right side, adjusting if you need to get comfortable. You can always unhook that knee, especially if there's any knee discomfort or anything around the hips that doesn't feel good. And then using your breath, just ease into your pose. You may find that you're not completely relaxed here. There's still a little bit of tension to hold you into this pose. So it's finding the right balance between an active pose and also being as relaxed as you can be, finding space to breathe, easing into any tightness, observing any resistance in your body, and then just starting to soften back a bit. Now to come out, unhook the top knee, come back through center, Big toes touch, knees wide. We counter pose here, holding onto shins or ankles. Shoulders fall open. A couple of breaths. And then you can choose to stay in this pose, or if you want to take it up into a happy baby pose, grab hold of your feet, lifting your heels above your knees. If the hips curl off, try and anchor them back down. Drawing your knees down towards your outer ribs. Shoulders fall away towards the ground. Make sure your neck is relaxed, the throat, the chest, ribs and belly. Easing into any tightness around the hips, groin or hamstrings maybe for some people. Let's hold this pose for one more long breath in. Releasing with the out breath, bring soles of the feet together and lower to the ground with knees wide. Arms fall at your sides. Or you can have hands on your belly. Just here for a couple of minutes. If you don't feel comfortable here, you could bring your knees up like we started. So a chance again to drop in, feel all the weight of your body resting heavily on the ground, really sinking into that feeling. Let your focus move internally, focusing on your breath and your body, your position on the ground. And from this space, we can also observe our surroundings, what we can feel, what we can hear, what you sense against your skin, observing weight and temperature, firmness and textures. Sounds in the distance. And those that are a bit closer, maybe even the sound of your own breath. And then to come out of our pose, let's take a long stretch. Send toes away from fingers. And gather in small again, hug knees up towards your body. Rock side to side if you want. And eventually come all the way back up into a seated position. Keep your eyes closed for a bit longer. Drop in. Feel the alignment of your body. Feel your posture. Let's all take one last breath together. Floating arms wide and reaching up high. Touch and lower down your center to your heart space.